Our names are Consuelo López-Martín and Inés López-Manrique. We're going to present the research evaluation of children's graphic representation in art education. Introduction. Evaluation is the testing of the validity of didactic strategies. It's also a research instrument in didactics. Jimeno, 2009, Guerra, 1996. In turn, graphic language is a means of expression and communication and a parallel system to verbal communication. What we know as drawing is a natural action carried out by children of all times and places, changing as they go to different evolutionary stages and acquire learning. Loverfield and Britton, 1980, signed 2006. Introduction. Various stages in the conquest of the graphic representation of objects was already noted by Sally, Patrick, etc., and each of them pointed out new aspects or details of this development. Many classifications of these stages have been made at the time, perhaps the most complete being that made by Lowfield and Kellogg. Introduction. Drawing can be used to investigate children's situations, to assess them, but by using criteria: Sondergaard, Ravenlow, Bowles, and Windsor. On the other hand, a subject lacking clarity in terms of objectives, knowledge, and skills to be developed in pupils is necessary. Assessment is the verification of the validity of didactic strategies, and it's also an instrument of research in didactics. According to some opinions, assessment in art education sometimes lacks evaluation criteria for children's drawings, although there are general guidelines for action in this respect in the educational curricula. This is detrimental for the learning and teaching process, as well as to the subject and subject area. Objective. The present study is aimed at finding out the criteria used to assess the drawings made by children. A survey was carried out among 1,000 primary school students. Method. The research participants were 500 students of primary education, 11 and 12 years, 51% girls and 49% boys. A basic two-question questionnaire was created to find out whether the students were aware of the criteria for evaluating the drawings. Results. The lack of criteria is reflected in the data from this survey we conducted among 500 school pupils, which is reproduced below. To the question, do you know what criteria are used to evaluate your drawings in primary school? Results. The second question was, if you know the criteria, explain them. As you can see in Table 2, these criteria do not correspond to the assessment of learning. Discussion. The results reveal a lack of information, as only 37% of those surveyed were aware of these questions. There is also a lack of grading criteria among teachers, such as considering cleanliness as the most valued element in children's drawing, 79%, which is not in accordance with the theories of specialists in children's art. It is not necessary to include in the mark for the drawings the assessment of behavior during the performance in class, which occurs in 28% of the cases, although it can be taken into account in the overall mark for the subject. Discussion. The results show that most of the children did not know the terms of evaluation, and the teachers did not pass them to the kids. Moreover, the questions assessed were not in all cases related to the stage of development of the pupils and the task itself. Conclusions. As there are criteria for evaluating drawings in research, there should be criteria for evaluating drawings in classroom practice. Here are some of the references we have used. Finally, thank you for your attention.